All right, folks, it is December 6th, 2023, Wednesday, and I have the absolute pleasure here of welcoming Ivo from Credefi Finance here to our show here today. Ivo, how are you doing over there, brother?
Yeah, pretty great actually. It's been a roller coaster of a year, but yeah, we have been focusing on our development and a lot of exciting things are about to come. I guess also, the market itself is preparing for quite a turmoil. So excited to be here. Thanks for the opportunity to speak with you guys, and yeah, all good.
So the reason the reason why you caught my attention is because you guys decided to integrate the XRP Ledger into your
Yeah.
business model, and I was super excited to hear about that. Before we get into the XRPL, why you chose it, how you plan on using it, I wanted to start with Credefi, who you guys are, and what you guys are trying to do.
Yeah, of course. Well, Credefi, it's a hybrid fintech solution. We have actually had me and the other co-founder extensive experience within the traditional financial sphere. Me myself, my expertise in credit risk management, assessment, and valuation. And overall, especially here in Europe, we noticed that small and medium enterprises, so businesses which are considered small to medium, are very difficult to gain adequate financing options, and especially from the debt finance sector. And the old school traditional methods, which banks are using, are quite bureaucratic, very mundane, very time inefficient. And we thought that there should be another way to deal with it. So that's how Credefi started. We saw we were involved in crypto as more of a hobby before Credefi, and we saw the opportunities which blockchain brings to the table, the efficiency, especially from time efficiency and especially fees as well. And we decided to mix the two worlds together, give this alternative financing option to SMEs which are within the real world space, but with the technological advance of the blockchain overall. So that's how it started. We have been already on the market for around 2 years. In the past 2 years, yeah, lots of things actually came, but we managed to launch our initial product, which is called Autonomous Earning Mechanism, Autonomous Portfolio, where actually people can deploy their ETH stable coins and start earning interest rates from day one. The thing which probably differentiates us most is that with us, it's a fixed interest rate. So from the day you actually enter onto the platform and you deploy your capital, you're earning a fixed return, and you choose the maturity for it. You are participating in a portfolio of credits, which are within the real world space. So they are towards small and medium enterprises, which have been credit scored and evaluated by us and Experian. Experian is one of the top three worldwide scoring companies, credit scoring companies. So you have the predictability and the security of a traditional financial instrument, but with the speed and the easiness of blockchain.
Yeah. And I was reading on your website, it looks like you guys have already helped over 50 businesses with loans since your inception. You
Yeah,
said you've been around for 2 years now.
yeah, that's true. Our main focus as of now and as of the moment is that businesses which are in need of short-term liquidity injections. So most of the credits which we have under the platform are between anywhere to between 3 to 6 months. So we have already had about 50 exposures which have been financed. It's Our portfolio is relatively small at the moment. It's around 4 million, but with all the let's say right conditions for growth.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You're getting in at the right time as we begin this next bull run. And with the
well,
year, w-
we launched at the very beginning of the bear market. So we survived that,
Yeah.
and I do think that this is also, it attests to the project's quality as well, because a lot of projects which launched in this period actually did not survive. But
Yeah.
with us being coming from the traditional space, we were very cautious, especially cash flow cautious, and yeah, right now we're in the phase of growth. We That's why we also integrated with XRPL,
Mhm.
and we're about to launch two new products, which are very, very exciting. And yeah, we're all prepared for the bull run, let's say.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. I wanted to ask you, what's the difference like over there in Europe where you guys are based out of as far as regulations, right? A regulatory standpoint, when you compare that with the United States and our government attacking anybody that tries to use DLT technologies. I'm happy that you guys across the pond over there in Europe and UK and some of these other jurisdictions have a little bit better rules of the road. So can you speak on that briefly?
Well, we are registered within the European Union. We are incorporated in Lithuania, which is one of the most, let's say, advanced countries in terms of, platforms such as ours. Not only from blockchain perspective, but also from crediting and financing perspective as well. Even the Revolut is registered there, so they're very advanced in that matter. The guidelines are much more clear. The governments here are very, how to say it, receptive of what's happening. I mean, they have recognized that, this is something which is here to stay. They cannot really stop it. So rather than actually trying to stop it, they are trying to actually even work with companies which are, in the fintech or in the blockchain space, and understand what the technology is all about, and actually have more clear guidelines, and basically they're trying to help the business in the right direction rather than stopping it, or basically being on the edge of it. So Mika just came into place, which is a big milestone because it actually puts all the countries on the same level. So every 27 of the European Union members has a clear guideline regarding crypto and digital assets overall. So this is of great help. We're very happy regarding it. For us personally, because again, coming from the traditional space, we are used to, coming from the banking sector, we're used to, MiFID, we're used to IFRS 9 regulations, accounting standards. So we knew that, from the start, we need to be as compliant as possible so that in the future we don't have any issues. And it's much easier when you set the foundations in the beginning than trying to adopt once all the gears have been turned. So this for us was very important. That's why we actually got a license for virtual asset service provider in Lithuania, which basically is very close to what Mika is. So technically speaking, we are already compliant with Mika. I mean, there's very, very few uh, changes which we need to implement, but they're not even changes, they're just add-ons to what we already have.
Yeah.
So yeah, personally speaking, again, that's one of the reasons why we have limited ourselves to the European Union as of now, especially for the borrower part of the business. It's much more clear, and it's easier to obtain a license when you have clear guidelines, and you basically go through a checklist and give the regulators what they want.
So you've limited, who you borrow to in the European Union. Are you accepting any client deposits from outside of the European Union?
Yeah. From the client deposit, I mean, we do have a KYC. It's mandatory for us, but we can accept liquidity providers from other parts of the world. We haven't limited this option to anybody else. So yeah, for now it's only regarding the actual crediting aspect. And this again has something to do with anti-money laundering. So, the borrowing aspect is a bit more, let's say, not heavily regulated, but a bit more monitored, let's say.
Are you even accepting U.S. clients?
To be perfectly honest, for the past three to 4 months, we have actually stopped because, of all the things which just recently unveiled. But we are planning to reopen that again. It's just that we wanted to wait out, like this wave of uncertainty, let's say.
Yeah.
But yeah, for now, we are not seeing any indication that in the future we will be prevented of, allowing U.S. customers. So
Yeah.
we're definitely gonna open up. It's probably gonna happen beginning of Q1.
Well, I'll tell you that no one's going to blame you for not accepting U.S. clients with our regulatory environment and our own government that we are so frustrated with. But I wanted to go
Yeah.
through the process just so I get this clearly. If someone's going to deposit their assets, so let's say we can deposit any cryptocurrencies that we have onto your platform, and then you're explain that.
Technically not. Technically not. We accept only stablecoins onto the platform as of
Stablecoins.
now. Yeah. So this is due to the volatility risk at the moment. So we're focusing on stablecoins, which then earn an interest rate on them for now.
Yeah, I would imagine it's pretty hard to collateralize such volatile assets such as XRP, right? That are going to
Yeah.
move up and down. And I've talked with my community about my exit strategy and reallocation. And down the road, I want to find a platform like yours or somebody else where I can collateralize my XRP. But I assume, and I'm not going to do that until it's at a much more stable price, right? Whether that price is $1,000 or just $10, I want to see stability when I put it forward as collateral to return a yield. But okay, so it's just stablecoins for now, and then down the road, is there going to be the potential to do other assets as well?
Well, we are thinking about it. Just to make it clear, we have two types of collaterals which we are using, and it's usually on the borrower side. As I said, we are currently only offering it to companies which operate within the real world space. So we are focusing on actually accepting collaterals which are from the real world assets. So for example, real estate or pledge on receivables or mortgage type of collateral. So for now, this is our main focus. This is how we, bring forward, and we integrate within the real world business and economy. Within the future, we're going to be doing a mixture of assets. So there's going to be also, different, as I said, cryptocurrencies mixed with real estate, for example. And also, we're working on something called NFT bonds. This is an instrument where actually corporations can issue a bond-like structure, and then these bonds can further be securitized and used as collateral. So you buy the bond, you finance through the bond, and then you actually use the bond as collateral to borrow on your behalf as well. So it's gonna be basically a very how to say it, a very sophisticated instrument and methodology where you can leverage your assets as well, but also you have to have an exposure towards the real world assets as well.
Now, the reason why I got so excited with your project is we came out with the announcement that you guys were going to integrate into the XRP Ledger. Now, what I picked up on, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is no partnership with Ripple. You guys have just decided on your own to integrate the XRP Ledger.
That's not exactly correct. If I have to be perfectly honest, the whole thing started. We were nominated last year from within the European blockchain event in Barcelona. We were nominated for a Startup of the Year. We were in the top 5 finalists, and that's where we met like some guys from Ripple. The whole discussion started from there, and we basically applied for a grant with them. We saw, the opportunity to. We just see so many synergies with them. We have spoken, as I said, freely on the event, and then we went through several calls. We saw, the opportunities which they're bringing on the table, and we thought, like, hey, there isn't such kind of a project on the XRPL at the moment, and we would be basically one of the first to offer such kind of a service to to this network and to this community base. So that's how the whole thing started.
I see.
So it wasn't only on our own. I mean, of course, the decision was ours, but these guys are great. They have a great team, and they just when we spoke, they just brought this confidence in us that this is something which is gonna explode in the near future.
Yeah, okay. So I misunderstood that. My apologies. I didn't realize that you got the nudge from Ripple, that you got to meet them, and that's what they do best, right? Is they're helping folks onboard into the XRP Ledger and digital assets, not even just XRPL. And so, what is the plan for integrating the XRP Ledger into your business?
Well, as I said, currently we already have an active instrument, and we basically migrated it to the XRPL network as well. The whole idea is that they're also interacting a lot with the real world businesses and with financial institutions which are transacting through them as well. So it just makes a ton of sense to actually integrate with them and offer our services, our earned services, and our solutions in terms of credit risk valuation, in terms of borrowers which can integrate through us and actually finance themselves through us. So our core business belief and our what we really want to achieve with them is actually attract also both from the liquidity provider side, but also from the actual financial institutions which are already using their network only for transactions, to actually start using their network also for their financing needs. So we would be basically one of the first to actually offer such kind of a thing. And through their vast network, it just, as I said, it makes a ton of sense. And this would also give exposures to our community towards a lot of different borrowers and businesses out there. So this was one of the main business reasons behind it.
Yeah. What about for custody? We know that they just acquired Medico. Are you guys tapping into that, or do you guys have your own custody solution?
Uh, for custody, as I said, because we're focused on the European Union on the borrower side as of now, we still haven't explored the other options. We do have an active partnership with a financial institution which is regulated here within the European Union, and they're acting as our collateral administrator. So basically, this is this is our solution as of now. Of course, in the future, I mean, our talks with Ripple haven't really tried with this integration. We actually do want to expand our services, and we do want to expand, what we can offer and bring to the table. So I'm quite sure that we will get to that point as well at some point, like sometime in the future, in the near future. But as of now, we haven't actually spoken about it.
Right. Now, I wanted to get your thoughts, Ivo, on the utilities that are coming to the XRP Ledger. I don't know how up to date you are, but we're getting some additional utilities. We finally got NFTs last year, and now we're about to get the automated market maker and a lot of cool, unique features and utilities coming to the XRP Ledger. So your thoughts on what's taking place in the ecosystem?
Well, again, one of the things which we're working on, as I said, is this corporate bond structure, which we want to introduce to the market. And the way we have done it from a technical perspective, I mean, also on theory, it's still not launched officially yet, but it is in the form of an NFT. So again, it just, one of the reasons of integrating with the XRPL was, that this NFT being launched through their network might be a really great solution. So, I mean, a lot of cool features are coming. I do believe that this would be an amazing, I'd say, a very expanding network. I do believe that a lot of the traditional businesses which are already, as I said, transacting with them will actually merge also with the XRPL in terms of utilities and other options which they bring on the table. And
You're talking about, so it was just reported that they have about 500 partnerships that have been announced, and so you're talking about them, because as we know right now, not all of them use XRP or integrate with the XRPL. Many of them don't, and that's obviously because of regulations, a big part of that. But you're of the opinion that a lot of them are going to merge in and start using the XRPL.
I'm very confident of that. Yeah, I'm very confident of that. It's just as I said, uh, it's a lot of the businesses have been transacting through the network in terms of just pure transactions, and a lot of a lot of the money which is I mean, it's a proven concept. It has worked for quite some time now, and now they're just expanding the services and what is offered. And I think that, as I said, being from the traditional space, usually you work with people which you already have proven record with. I mean, if you want to do business, you would always choose somebody which you have worked with, which you have seen that the solution is there. So I think that expanding your services towards your current customer base is the best way to go anyway.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you, so I've been a strong advocate of what Ripple's doing. I know they get a lot of hate, they get a lot of misunderstanding and confusion about what they're up to. And many people have criticized the money that they're giving away in grants to some of these projects, because not all of them blossom into great investments and great companies, right? And that's just the nature of the beast, right? When you are giving grants out, you're trying to build out an ecosystem. Not everybody's going to win, right? This isn't a participation trophy economy. And so I wanted, as a beneficiary, someone who did receive a grant from Ripple, I'm a big fan of it, because what they're doing is, if someone's bringing utility to the ledger, if someone has a good business like yourself, they're putting a little bit more fuel on that fire to get it going with more capital. And so I thought maybe I'd ask you, what were some of the things that you were able to use with that grant to help your business?
Well, to be perfectly honest, I mean, most projects, like serious projects, would never participate in something just because of the grant. If it doesn't make sense, for example, we have been offered quite a few times, grants from different entities, but they're not fitting our business case. We're not in GameFi, we're not a meme coin, so it doesn't make sense to integrate with them. I mean, okay, the grant covers some basic business costs, which for a small startup is it's appealing, but it's not okay, we just take the money and from there on basically participate anywhere. I mean, if it doesn't add value to your business, you wouldn't do it. So yeah, it is an additional incentive, and I think it's the right way to do it, because as I said, I mean, for example, we had resources on our own, so we would have integrated one way or another. But the grant itself, it just shows like facing the project. It shows that there is a commitment also on the other side for developing this system and developing this network. And it just gives you this reassurance that when you put resources into it, there is also a counterparty which is willing to help as well. So I do understand the criticism behind behind the way that some people think that it's happening, but trust me, first of all, the procedure isn't so easy. I mean, you have you have to provide documentation, you have to provide proof of concept, so there is quite a few different requirements before you receive the grant anyway. But also you don't do it because, technically speaking, the cost of the deployment and everything else always exceeds the grant. So if you want to integrate, you should really Like you don't do it only for the grant money. You do it because of your core business beliefs.
Yeah. And I wanted to elaborate that on a little bit further. One of the criticisms that Ripple also gets is that they're not caring about retail. They don't care about us little guys, right? They're only worried about the big banks, the central banks, and this and that. But what I find interesting is they don't have to necessarily touch retail, right? But by partnering up with someone like you, right? Putting a little money behind you as someone who is servicing the small to medium enterprises, this is how you create a more inclusive financial system. And so your thoughts on that? I think that Ripple's doing the right thing. They don't need to serve all 8 billion people directly. They, establish partnerships with someone like you. You're not giving money and loans to big billion-dollar companies. These are small to medium enterprises.
Well, I think that sometimes people, again, this is my personal opinion. People always say, regarding inclusion, regarding, growth of the ecosystem, to get more people involved. In order, it's a bit like, the chicken and the egg situation. I mean, in order to actually have a lot of retail come into the space, so, people which are not involved into crypto, you do need some big names to enter the space as well. Like you need this reassurance of, okay, so if my bank is working with them, I guess, like this is something which means that they're solid. I would work with them as well. So, it's institutions are important to enter the space just as much as retail, because having, let's say, I don't know, a couple of million people involved into crypto, that's not how we're going to change the whole financial system. I mean, even when I speak to, for example, some of my relatives, they're always like hesitant because they're used to the traditional system. They're used to what's been out there for the past like 50, 100 years. And they always say, okay, if, for example, I see that, the government gets more involved, or if I see, for example, I don't know, a big bank getting into it, then I'm going to feel more comfortable with me than putting my money into that place. So I do think that to grow the space overall, you do need institutional players, and retail will follow as well. So, just as you said, uh, I do think that they're doing the right thing here. Of course, they're not solely doing this because they are working with companies such as ourselves. We are trying to involve, smaller companies. So it goes hand in hand, let's say.
Yeah. And to wrap up the session here, I just wanted to get your kind of expectations, any predictions that you're willing to throw out for this coming bull run. I know there's a lot of excitement. I was just pulling up the charts there. It looks like Bitcoin topped out over 44,000 here once again today. And I think it almost approached 45,000 depending on what chart you're looking at. So I'm not going to ask you for a price prediction unless you want to throw one out, but just kind of your expectations and what you're looking forward to this coming bull run.
Well, the bear market itself, it's not always a bad thing. I mean, for me personally, it checks out the weekends in terms of both projects and also, people which are involved into the space. I do think that people have also institutions and big corporations have realized that, this is something which is gonna stay, and hey, better get into it at the right time than, do it at a later stage. So we have seen that, both regulators, institutions, everybody is starting to pay a lot more attention to the space, which is a good thing. I mean, having some kind of regulation is better than, having none. It reassures people to enter the space. It grows the system. So all these factors, including the bear market, were a positive, let's say. I think that this next level and this next bull run is going to be much more sustainable. I think that, we're going to see, again, growth of also, of course, price action for the projects which are actually delivering something. I think that more and more it's going to become evident that, this space is not like some magic kind of a bubble which is it's on its own. I think that, people are realizing that this technology needs to be utilized, and it needs to be utilized within the real economy. This is what also Credefi is all about. That's why I also think that real world assets is going to be a major driving force within the next bull run. More and more people are going to get into that, because to get real, let's say, adoption of the technology, you need to interact with the economy. You need to be part of the GDP growth. You need to employ people and whatnot. So I expect it to be much more sustainable. I expect it to be much bigger as well, because with the ETF hopefully passing through, and as I said, a lot of institutions getting into the space, I think there's going to be a lot of traditional assets which are going to be also, this bond structure which we're deciding to, and we're about to launch. I think that all of these will fund the space even further. So I think a lot of money of new, let's say, funds are going to flow into the space. So it's going to be bigger, it's going to be more sustainable, and it's definitely going to be, let's say, much more noticeable in terms of business wise. It's retail will be there, but also a lot of businesses will shift towards it.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, I'm super excited. And we're going to put your link for your Twitter down below and for your website. Is there anywhere else that people can find you or should be looking you up?
Yeah, we're present on all the social media, but I guess Twitter, Telegram, and website is the most efficient way. If any of the listeners have any questions, we do have community managers 24/7. So even I'm very active in the chats sometimes. Just ask any questions you have, guys, and we'll be more than happy to answer.
Yeah, I was listening to one of the Twitter spaces you were in the other day, and I appreciate you for being open, vocal, and transparent. I think that's what the people are wanting to see, especially like you said, during a bear market. Whoever's still building, bringing utility during the bear market, they're going to thrive during this coming bull run. And so I wish you all the best success. I want to congratulate you on winning the Ripple grant. And I just want to say thank you for choosing the XRPL. Anybody who is building real utility on the XRP Ledger, I'm always trying to have them on my show, and it's been a pleasure to have you here today, Ivo. Thank you.
Well, once again, thanks for this opportunity, and overall, it was a pleasure speaking to you. I love to discuss such kind of questions, and anytime.
It's been an absolute pleasure. And folks, if you guys need our community resources, they're at my website, zachrector.com. On the way out, I want to ask everybody to make sure that you like this video. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we got a lot more content coming your way, and we will definitely be watching this company, Credefi, and thank you for stopping by today, Ivo. Thank you so much.
Bye. Have a great day.